So just take a second and think about your day. You've probably already sent a few emails, right? Maybe scrolled through social media, watched a couple of videos. Well, every single one of those clicks, every tap, it all creates a digital footprint. But what does that footprint actually look like? It's probably not what you think. Let's get into it. Here's a question for you. Is a spreadsheet the same thing as a video? I mean, they're both just files, right? They live on your computer. But in the world of data, they are from completely different planets. Today, we're going to break down why by looking at the three fundamental types of digital data. Okay, first up, let's talk about the super organized, everything in its place member of the data family, structured data. Think of it like a perfectly labeled old-school filing cabinet where you can find anything in seconds. It's the data that computer scientists absolutely love. See, structured data is all about rules. It follows what's called a data model, which is really just a fancy way of saying it has a very strict blueprint. Everything has a specific, predefined spot, and it's got to stay there, no exceptions. A spreadsheet is the classic example. You've got your columns, right? Name, date of birth, city. Every piece of info slots right into its own little box. It's clean, it's predictable, and for a computer, it is an absolute dream to work with because it knows exactly where to look for everything. And you find this stuff everywhere. It's the backbone of things like official census records or library catalogs. It's the hard economic data that runs the world. And believe it or not, every single time you hit that like button on Facebook, you're creating a perfect little piece of structured data. Your user ID, the post ID, the exact time, all filed away neatly. All right, so we've met the neat freak of the data world. Now let's meet the slightly more flexible, kinda sorta organized middle child, semi-structured data. So, if structured data is a rigid spreadsheet, semi-structured data is a little different. It doesn't have that strict model, but it does have internal clues, like tags and markers, that give it some kind of organization. It has some rules, but also some freedom. An email is the perfect way to understand this. Think about it. The to, from, and date fields, that part is structured. It's always there, always in the same format. But the actual body of the email, well, that's a total free-for-all. You can like a novel in there. So the email as a whole is semi-structured because it's a mix of both worlds. And you see this pattern all over the place. The code that builds websites like XML and JSON, that's semi-structured. A Word doc that has hidden author information? Yep, that too. Even a photo that you've tagged with a location or a keyword is semi-structured. It's data that has some organization, just not a super strict one. Okay, we've met the neat one and the laid-back one. Now it's time to head out into the digital frontier, the wild, chaotic, and absolutely massive world of unstructured data. Unstructured data is basically everything else. It's all the information that does not have a predefined model. There are no neat columns, no tidy fields. It's the digital equivalent of a messy closet where everything's just been thrown in. And because of that, it's incredibly difficult for computers to make sense of on their own. So what exactly are we talking about here? We're talking about things like PDFs. We're talking about all those videos you watch online. We're talking about the billions of images that get shared every single day. And we're talking about the actual content, the text, the blog posts, the articles, on pretty much every webpage you visit. This stuff, this beautiful digital chaos, is what the modern internet is really built on. So you might think that those organized databases are running the show, right? Well, think again. Here's the kicker. A staggering 90 to 95% of all digital data in the world today is unstructured. That organized stuff we talk about, it's just a tiny, tiny sliver. The chaos isn't the exception, it's the rule. And if that number sounds crazy, just think about your own computer for a second. That downloads folder, all those random pictures from years ago, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Trying to find one specific thing can be a total pain. Now just imagine that exact same problem, but scaled up to the size of a huge company or the entire internet. So we've got this enormous, ever-expanding mountain of messy data. Okay, so what? Why should any of us care? Well, that's where things get really interesting. The reality is, we're creating more data than ever before in human history, and almost all of it is this messy, unstructured kind. So why is that a big deal? Why is it a problem? Well, the challenges are massive. For most companies, trying to find valuable information in all that chaos is like trying to find a needle in a continent-sized haystack. They don't have the right tools, it's incredibly hard to analyze, and there's a huge shortage of people who even know how to do it. Plus, you've got massive legal risks if sensitive info gets lost in all that noise. For any business that's trying to innovate or just stay afloat, this is a huge deal. If you can't make sense of your own data, you can't react quickly to new opportunities, and you can't spot risks before they turn into full-blown disasters, it's like you're trying to navigate a maze blindfolded. And that really brings us to the biggest question of our time. All those amazing advances you hear about in AI and machine learning, this is the problem they're trying to solve. The whole AI revolution is basically about one thing: teaching computers how to understand our messy, chaotic, unstructured world. So the ultimate challenge is this: with almost all new data being created in this chaotic form, how do we find the incredible value that's hidden in all that noise? The future will belong to whoever can figure that out.